Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. And today I'm going to take a look at this little guy right here. It is the expansion for Titans Tactics, a game that I reviewed just a few days ago, and it's already available up on the web. This guy, though, is an expansion to that game, and they did a pretty good job. Let's take a look at it. So as we look inside the box for Titans Tactics, why would I say that they did a pretty good job with it? Well, quite frankly, the only thing that the expansion really does, well, the biggest thing, I guess you could say, is that it gives you more characters. And that's what I think expansions should be doing. They should be giving you simply more things to manipulate within the game itself, instead of laying down some groundbreaking rule change or something like that that kind of throws the game off in another direction. Titans Tactics expansion did not do that. They simply stuck with what they had and they expanded that. Hence the name expansion, folks. Game publishers, listen. Anyway, so basically each faction will get 3 new characters, champions, to add to the pool that you can choose from when you choose your faction. That doesn't seem like a huge change, but it actually is, because with the addition of 3 more characters to each faction, that expands the playability of the game in more ways than just one. Not only do you have more people to choose from, which means that you're going to have more plays because you have more characters, they actually also added a very subtle rule change, and that is playing Titans Tactics in a series of games, basically 3 games, 2 out of 3. But when you draft champions, the player cannot choose champions that they have used in earlier games. So now they have the ability to play 3 different champions in each game of the series. And that's just really cool, in my opinion. I thought that was a great idea for the game. But that's not the only change. They also added in hardcore bidding rules. This is kind of the hardcore. All of these rules changes, they call it quote-unquote hardcore. And so another rule that they added in is that instead of just randomly choosing who begins the game, you can actually bid victory points, as it were, or health points, because you're actually talking about damaging. When you damage, that's how you get more points in the game. So before the game begins, you can actually bid away damage to try to go first, because going first does have an advantage in Titans Tactics. So player 1 can say, okay, I bid 1 point, and then player 2 says, well, I bid 2. And so forth and so on. And whoever bids the most damage at the beginning of the game or before the game begins actually takes that damage before the game and has to start with that deficit or handicap, so to speak, for going first. I thought that was a really cool idea. Also, and the last thing that they added in for hardcore gaming rules is that you draft the characters that you're going to use in the game rather than just picking them secretly. You actually flip it face up and show your opponent who you're choosing. Then they have a choice, a chance to pick one, and then they have to show you their choice, and so forth and so on, until you both have 3 champions ready to go. Again, not a huge change, but it's a cool change. And so that's why I said that Titans Tactics expansion did it right. So that's Titan Tactics. When you do an expansion, this is how you should do it. Now, this game is, as I said in the originally, a very simple game. It is very easy to play. So this expansion kept it simple, which is a very cool thing. Now, they also give you more status and spawn tokens because you're going to need them for having more characters to deal with. So there's that as well. But the big improvements, I think, for the game was the addition of more characters, the addition of those very slight rules changes that just make the game a little bit more interesting, gives it more replayability. So I think base game, I was kind of ho-hum on it, but Whereas I'm not fully coming around full circle here, I think that the expansion kicks it up a notch and gives it that little level of interesting that the base game just was lacking. I think my original review still stands. If you have a Summoner Wars or a Mage Wars or something like that, this is probably not going to appeal as much to you. But if you haven't got those other games, I think this will appeal to you with the lower price point. And there is a level of complexity there that can be reached, especially with these new hardcore rules that the expansion puts up. So that's Titans Tactics, the expansion. See you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.